What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Today we're going to be reviewing Gibby Stites' brand new album, On Demand. This dropped back in April. Actually, this album dropped right before Kung Fu Vampire's album dropped, and I gotta tell you, Gibby Stites had my attention. He made it difficult for me to go check out the new Kung Fu Vampire project, which is awesome that he was actually featured on this album, Kung Fu Vampire. I love me some Gibby. I think Gibby has a vibe to him, kind of similar for me. To me, it feels very similar to kind of Mayday. Like there's chill vibes to him. I enjoy listening to Gibby Stites, and one of the elements about Gibby Stites that I really enjoy is Charlie Beans, which has done a lot of his production. Still Ill, On Demand, I believe there was some on Don't Touch That Dial, which Don't Touch That Dial was a project. It was a release that I completely missed over. I think it dropped sometime in the fall. I didn't listen to that until December, and I was like, yo, I kind of want to drop a review for this, but I had spoken a couple videos that I was listening to music for the sake of reviewing, and that was one of the ones where I was kind of listening to it for the sake of doing a review, and then I just stopped. Like I stopped that thought process and was just enjoying it, and then went back into what I was listening to, which at that time I was head first into Low Key and his two albums, Candy Corn and Cover Songs, which are amazing projects. So that's one of the reasons why I never dropped a review for Don't Touch That Dial. I think there's still potential to drop that review. Well, somebody had commented on my video when I talked about possibly retiring. They said, it doesn't necessarily have to come out when it's brand new, and that is so true because when I started doing YouTube videos, I was reviewing albums that were 15 years old. All of the Joker cards were old at that point. So potentially down the road, I would like to go give a review for Don't Touch That Dial because it is in his discography. And again, I enjoy me some Gibby Stites. I don't know how a lot of my audience is feeling about him, but I enjoy him. There's people that I've reached out to, and I was like, yo, what do you guys think about Gibby Stites? Because obviously there for a while, I wasn't fucking with Twisted, and he was signed to Magic Ninja Entertainment for a short while. And some of the people that I reached out to were just like, yo, I don't care for him. And I was like, what? This guy's pretty fucking dope. So On Demand, when it was coming out, I definitely was peeping. Obviously right now I'm not picking up physical media. He was one that I started buying CDs for, so I've kind of fallen behind as far as that goes. But yeah, I really enjoy some Gibby Stites, and On Demand is exactly what you could expect from Gibby. So if you're not a big fan of him, I don't feel like this album's going to win you over. But if you are a fan of Gibby Stites, then this is definitely some more dope music to listen to. I really, 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 really enjoyed listening to Kung Fu Vampire and Gibby Stites together. That was definitely a standout track for me. And I talked about it a little bit in my review of Kung Fu Vampire's brand new album, but I would love to hear like a full KFV album featuring Charlie Beans. And I would honestly like to hear more Gibby and Kung Fu together. I think that they have really good. I don't know. I felt like they fed off of each other's energy really good on Nocturnal, quite a bit here. So, one thing that I have a note for is in the song Heartbreak, Gibby is talking a little bit about a label and not needing your record deal, and by the time he came out, he hadn't gained and he had lost money essentially. I feel like that is about Magic Ninja Entertainment, but ultimately, like, I don't want to come in here and be like, "Yo, fuck them," you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that wasn't the vibe that I got from him. The vibe that I got from him in that song is something I've talked about before, and it's something that I think is really just kind of important for people to understand that you don't need to be signed to a label anymore. I don't think that there's much that a label can really offer an artist anymore besides exposure, besides distribution. That's the biggest thing I feel like that they could give you is mainly distribution and exposure. If they've already got a big following, then they can sign you and put you on there and be like, yo, this person here. Other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot that they can offer because that's just where we are right now in the world of like technology and shit. Most people can figure out how to program their own beats and stuff like that. And there's so many tools and resources out there. But I did want to make a note of that because I think it was in the Still Ill. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in my review of Still Ill. I had mentioned how he left at Magic Ninja Entertainment, and I wonder if he left or if they like didn't think he did very good, so booted him off. I then had talked to Charlie Beans, who had said, he had left. It was no bad blood. And that's kind of the other reason why I wanted to make note of that here, that I don't necessarily think that he's like saying that his time with M&E was bad. I think it's just kind of one of those messages of like, if you were feeling inspired to try to record and be your own artist, then do it. You know what I mean? Like, take it from me, somebody who was on a label. I didn't need it. I came out actually short in the end. I feel like I'm on a tangent. Let's talk about the album. But this album, 12 tracks, it's 37 minutes long. So it's kind of a good quick listen. It's right there in the middle of what I like. I'm kind of weird and picky because if an album is too short, I don't like it. But if an album is too long, then I find it to be somewhat of a chore to listen to the whole album. And sometimes like I can get to the 3/4 point of an album and then just be like, I'm ready for something else. So sometimes that's the perfect length right there. I would say anything less than 20 minutes is too short, and anything over 45 minutes I feel is too long. Especially once I get into the hour mark, I'm like, tap out. Depending on the album, you know what I mean? Like if it's an album that kind of has a story going to it or whatever, then that's more likely to get me to stick around. But anymore, when I'm listening and consuming music, short little listens are nice because I was able to put this album on and just let it kind of repeat itself because I felt like it was long enough. And I know he released like a deluxe version of the project. I have not listened to that yet, so this review is strictly for the standard version because I haven't even listened to the deluxe. And obviously that made the album a little bit longer. And I'm sure going and listening to that, it's not going to be too long. It's not going to throw it into that category of like I'm ready to move on. But I feel like this is the perfect length because by the time you get to track 10, you can kind of feel it like winding down a little bit, and that's kind of how I know that this is winding down. So let's talk about my top tracks. Obviously, they're being more than 10 tracks. I typically give my top 5 unless it's a shorter album. Then I only give top 3, and if it's a really short album, I only give like my favorite song. But my top 5 songs on here are "Open Your Mind," "Nocturnal," "The Maze," "Blaze Up," and "33rd Chamber." Now I had trouble deciding which was my favorite out of these because again, I really enjoyed hearing Kung Fu Vampire with Gibby Stites, and I really, 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 really enjoyed hearing Kung Fu Vampire on a Charlie Beans beat. I cannot like emphasize enough how much I feel like a project with Charlie Beans production would be such a good Kung Fu Vampire record. And I don't think he has any interest in doing that. I think he likes to work with a mixed bag. But goddamn, like to have and that's one thing that's so unique to Kung Fu Vampire is he's kind of that mixed bag. But I think to have one project with one producer all the way through and have Paxton do the engineering so that you can even have that touch of him in there, oh god, that would be such a dream come true. I'm off on another tangent. We're talking about Gibby Stites here, but Nocturnal was a really good track. I really enjoyed the shit out of that. But I really, really, really enjoyed Blaze Up as well. Another great producer. I'm assuming that Straight Jacket did the beat for that song. I could be wrong. I feel like I should probably should have looked that up before I just come on here like, yo, I love this song, and it's because Straight Jacket produced it. I really like the music side of that song, and then you get into the actual song itself. It's good vibes. That's what I'm fucking with Gibby the most is the good vibes he makes me feel when I listen to the music. And a big, big, big part of it is he's picking beats that have that feel, and that's what I really like. That's what I vibe with. That's what I fuck with. And Blaze Up is right up there in that category. So I have it on my notes that Blaze Up is my favorite, but I want to say they're like neck and neck. Nocturnal and Blaze Up are both like really close to there. So yeah, if you have listened to On Demand. Tell me down below what your favorite tracks are. If you have not heard the album, go peep it, give it a listen, and you can come back and tell me what you think. And if you're not feeling it, just be respectful in the comments. That's always my big thing. Is it's okay to not like something, but it's not okay to be a dick about it and be a fucking douchebag. But be respectful, and I think I can respect that. And I think if Gibby Stites was to come watch this video and see the comments down below, I think he could respect that too if you're not feeling it. But yeah, anyway, tell me down below what you guys think about On Demand by Gibby Stites. I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.